Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on our second webinar that we've done on Bottle ERP. And today we're going to be mastering your operations, talking from HMRC to sustainability, all using the Catalyst Bottle ERP product. A quick introduction to the team. So you got myself. I'm Rob Scambler. Lovely to meet you all. I'm the ERP Sales Director here at Catalyst. We have Sam A'Bear, who most of you hopefully would have spoken to by now. He's the ERP Sales Manager for distilleries. He's our distillery specialist. And we're joined today by Imad Malik, who is our Director of ERP Products and is the person responsible for building this phenomenal product. So the agenda today, I'm going to do a very, very quick introduction to Catalyst and NetSuite and what Bottle ERP and how it all ties together. Then we'll move on to the live demonstration, and we're going to talk through production planning, customer storage costs, HMRC integration, and the sustainability dashboard, which is obviously a very important thing at the moment. And then we'll finish off with a Q&A session. Feel free to type in the questions as we go. We may answer them as we go. We may wait till the end. We'll see what's best. Just very quickly on Catalyst then. So we are a NetSuite solution provider and have been for about 8 years. We've got roughly 80 to 85 customers, all ranging between sort of retail customers, wholesale customers, and manufacturing as well. But we've built a really niche product within the NetSuite product, which is specifically designed for spirit, whiskey, gin companies. And our first customer is Warner's Gin, and we've evolved the product to accommodate for the complex manufacturing that whiskey provides. And we're proud to have Aaron Whiskey as a client, and also the really new distillery Ardgowan, who have just recently gone live. So very exciting there. So, I love to talk about a business as a cask, if you like, and something I've come up with here called the leaky cask. So at the top of the cask, you're putting in your revenue forecasts, your profit forecasts, your operating profit forecasts, etc. And as you go through the year, there may be leaks in the business or leaks in the cask that evaporate those revenue forecasts or the GP forecasts, and it's because of certain issues within the business that you may be experiencing. So if we may talk about disparate systems given lack of visibility in the business. So you're working in spreadsheets, so the spreadsheet's moving from your sales team to your production team to your finance team, and in between those. In between those movements, you're losing visibility of what's going on in the business. The management of casks and containers is always a bit of an issue, and ineffective production scheduling. So what we're going to do today is see if we can fill some of those holes up, if you like. So we're going to talk about the production scheduling, the cask management, and HMRC, and we're going to see if we can start showing what value a system like Bottle ERP can bring to your business. And if we think about, what the government have just done, we're not supporting the spirit industry and increasing national insurance on employers for employers' contributions. The importance of having the correct infrastructure to really monitor the costs and have full visibility within the company becomes even more important for companies like yourselves. So it's really asking the question here, which one of these resonates with you, and also what is everyone's looking to grow. Where is the cost of that growth? Is it in people that are, they can leave, they can be sick, they can make mistakes, or is it in an IT system that doesn't go on holiday, doesn't get sick, and doesn't make mistakes? So it's finding that balance and making those right decisions. Just very quick introduction to NetSuite. So NetSuite is a fully cloud system, cloud platform. It has 40,000 customers globally, and every single one of them will be on the same version. In the middle there, that single data source is what NetSuite own and upgrade twice a year. We were talking to a customer of ours a prospect of ours a couple of days ago, who are using a system that everyone's probably fully aware of, and they are 29 versions out of date. I mean, it's just unbelievable to think the problems that causes. So that never happens with NetSuite. And NetSuite will be your one platform to run everything, and it provides the foundations of what we've built for Bottle ERP. At its core, it's a finance system, but you have CRM in there, you have your finances, you have your production management, you have your manufacturing, you have your warehouse management. All of this sits within the same platform. And if you have multiple subsidiaries, they will all sit on the same platform as well. So you can flip from company to company and also see a consolidated view. So everyone in the department is using one system under one platform. It's scalable and it's really easy to configure, but it provides a monumentally powerful reporting engine, enabling you to have full visibility within your company.
So in NetSuite out of the box, as Rob kind of alluded to, you get your financials, your inventory management, your CRM, and your production. However, with Bottle ERP, you get all of the things that you can see here. So that's your cask management, your location management, your LPA tracking, your duty management, your end-to-end quality control, your visual planner, WMS Go, and HMRC integration. So we're good at the cask. So when we say grain to glass, this literally means end-to-end. So your component management with all of your recipes, your spirit production, your cask management, as it's highly administrative burden all the time for everyone, your sample tracking, moving through the process to your bottling, your warehouse management through WMS, your LPA tracking, and your HMRC reporting and integration. So this means that your sales through to your warehouse, your production, supply chain, ops directors, everyone has live and up-to-date information on their dashboards. And these dashboards are all pertinent to the roles that are assigned to those specific departments. This allows for dynamic decisions as the process is expedited drastically, as everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet, so to speak, and thus all connected. So from what we've seen, this eliminates spreadsheets, whiteboards in production offices, and reduces the requirements to take on extra headcount due to real-time information flow being optimized. So ask yourselves, where is the true cost of growth? Is this in people or is it in systems? Yeah. Imad, I'll be back to you now. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, cool. All right, so as the guys said, we've got a couple of different things we're going to go through today. We're going to start off with HMRC, then talk about storage costs, sustainability, and then ending finally with our production planner itself. We're going to be looking at NetSuite, which is where we've built our Bottle ERP product into. And as I said, let's start with HMRC itself. So under our Bottle ERP tab, we have lots of different things around duty, LPA, etc. One of the key things is duty and duty management. And it's your duty reporting in W5, W5D, depending on which one you're doing, the W21, the W1, etc. One of the reports that we've started working with HMRC and have integrated with HMRC is W5/W5D. This uses real-time information from NetSuite around your shipments, your transfers, your production, etc., to calculate what duty you need to pay, what LPA has been produced, what LPA has gone out, etc. That then allows you to send that information directly to HMRC. So the screen we're looking at right now is showing me all my transactions that the system believes are duty payable based on various parameters that we've set up. So they're all for one subsidiary, but we can have multiple in a specific location. And I have an option to filter as well. From here, I can see the information about these different transactions. So when they were done, who they were done for, how much quantity went out, the duty rate that was applied, the total duty, etc. And as I said, this is all based on live information within the system. So this is one of those transactions. So this is a shipment that's done out of the system for some Whiskey 101 bottled product, where we've sent 2 cases of 6, and we can see the system has calculated the LPA and the duty that is payable at the line level or at the transaction level as well, and is marked it as duty payable transaction. If we go through the process of actually making the payment itself, we can select one or multiple lines. So if I select my fulfillment that I was just looking at, I can then review it. That'll then take me to a second screen where you can now go through the confirmation process of what needs to be done, what bank account you're making the payment from, etc. So I can select my bank account. I can see at the bottom I've got my submission table, which is very similar to what is on HMRC itself, but that is more for reference when you connect to HMRC. I can put my payment reference in, and then I can confirm that I'm happy for that to be submitted to HMRC. That's then going to do a number of different things for us. It's going to carry out a connection with HMRC and take that information and send it across. It's also going to update the system itself and rectify the duty payment, the duty payable flags to show that actually it has been done and the duty payment has been made. So we can see this record has all the information we need around the account, the total LPA, the total duty, who submitted it, the accounts that have been selected, the sequence number, etc. And we've got a couple of banners at the top, one flagging that the account has been set up as HMRC integrated, so the request will be sent to HMRC. Once it's gone, we'll get a W5 number back that will get put into the system and we'll get a status. The system's automatically also updating the transactions in the system as well. So if we let this process, we'll see that the fulfillments and the different transactions that we've set up are being updated to be stamped that they've been duty paid as part of this duty payment process. The journal that clears out the duty payment amount is also being generated automatically, along with the log to HMRC itself. And all that information then is collated automatically and put into the system. So we can see now that the updates have been carried out. We've got our W5 number from HMRC. The status is pending, and that will then get updated as HMRC make the approval. That'll change to approved automatically within the system. But the system has automatically also updated the different transactions as well, allowing you to track the information that's been done. So if we go back to my fulfillment and just refresh it, we'll see that it's now been updated. So now it's been marked as duty paid, and we can see it's been flagged against that payment record as well. That's then updated, not just the fulfillment, but the source transaction. So in this case, the actual order that was made from the customer, allowing you to have full visibility on the process from start to finish, from creating the product to shipping the product to paying the duty on it, to then going back and automatically tracking it as well.
Okay, Matt, sorry, mate, just a couple of questions. So if somebody's using a duty deferment account, how would this work with that, and if they'd need to reconcile in one go?
So you can use, so if you're doing the W5D, I'm guessing the question's around the W5D instead. So you can say you're using a W5D, and with the process, it would send you a deferment number along with the actual request itself. As the system is processing transactions, so you're creating fulfillments, you're moving stock around, it's automatically generating a journal in the system to say your total liability, your total duty payable. So at any point in time, you can track what your total duty payable is, even if you haven't run the screen. That screen will then reconcile it for you to say you've cleared off that payable with your deferment number, and then that will process. Again, it's all integrated into NetSuite itself.
Perfect. And then one more question. How does the system deal with VAT on excise duty and the value for VAT if there is a sales price?
So VAT is all calculated through standard NetSuite using the transactions. VAT is defined against the items themselves, and then that is then used to define the processes that are followed. That's probably the easiest way to explain that.
Thanks, Rob.
Cool. Any more questions on this?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so that is our HMRC element that we're going to show today. So the second part we're going to go through is storage costs. So if I just go over. So we're talking about today our storage costs on the customer side. So you're storing casks for customers, IBCs, whatever it might be. You're storing something for a customer and you need to be charging them storage costs for a certain given period from a certain date, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, etc. So our system allows you to control that. And we have a couple of different ways for you to control that. So under our Bottle ERP tab, we have our customer managed casks. So we have customer owned casks, storage, invoices, and expected revenue as well. Again, it's all in one system. So you can see all the transactions, all the flow, all through as well. If you take a look at the first report, we can see the different casks that are currently on the system that we're managing for our different customers. So we have cask numbers, the type of casks, the customer it is, and all the main information that you would want, plus also the storage type that we set up. So what sort of charge have we set up? Have we set it up to be a daily fixed fee? Have we set it weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, etc.? And these are all configurable based on different templates that you can set up. So I've just set up a very simple one, which was £2 a day is our standard fixed rate that we're going to charge. That then allows the system to automatically suggest and generate invoices for you. So no longer do you need to, if you're managing hundreds of thousands of casks, manually collate the numbers every month to generate the invoices for the customers. The system will suggest and alert you to that. And then what it'll give you is invoices on the end of it for each cask for the different date ranges based on what has been set up, from a specific start date based on the charge amount. You can then see the actual invoices themselves. And if we open an example invoice that I've generated earlier this week, we can see this is for Whiskey Co., a very imaginative name. We can see they've got a couple of different casks and all the information about the different casks, the date from and to that we're charging for, if they're different dates, is all listed out. The rate that's being charged is all listed out. So it's giving the customer on the other end full clarity of what they're being charged for, what the rate is, what the date range is that we're charging for as well. But we can also report on it on our side because we've linked all that information, we've linked the casks to it, so we can see the invoices that have gone out. And because it's in the system itself, we can also plan ahead and see what our expected revenue is. So one of our other reports that you have is, okay, we've got these casks or vessels in the system. What is our current expected revenue based on invoices that haven't been raised? So because I raised an invoice a couple of days ago, it's telling me actually, well, you need to raise another invoice from the 4th to 6th. So it's been 2 days since you've invoiced for these different casks. And based on the setup, this is the expected revenue that you're going to get from them once you've actually invoiced, if you invoice today. So you can start planning ahead and you can start seeing as casks are set up on the system and you're selling them and you're storing them for customers, you can start to see the full expected revenue directly within the system, and you don't have to manually generate them from the system. You don't have to collate the information. The system is doing all that for you based on the setup that you've already done. And because we like to make everything forward facing and forward to the customer, this is all available not just as reports, but on your dashboard as well. So I'm looking at a very generic dashboard that I've set up, but I can show on here my open storage invoices that need to be paid, show all the information, my expected revenue, my stock. I can then drill into any of this information because everything that is a blue link is drillable, and I can see that information right as I log into NetSuite, so I can get all the information at my fingertips as well.
We've got a question that's come in saying, can this be used for other storage units like IBCs, etc., that you might store for another customer?
You can. So this can be used in this example. I've set this up just for casks, but there is no reason why you can't set this up for IBCs or any other vessel types that you might be storing. Similarly, I've set this up to be a daily charge for £2, but if you have weekly charges, monthly, bi-monthly, again, you have a lot of flexibility on the charge basis as well.
Great, thank you.
Are there any questions on storage costs, storage processes before I move to the next part?
Not at the moment. Thanks.
So the third bit we're going to look at is our sustainability dashboard and how sustainability works as part of Bottle ERP. And as Rob alluded to, sustainability right now is a really big thing, and it needs to be considered when you're transacting, when you're doing production, when you're buying, when you're selling, etc. And having a system that can track that automatically for you as you do your standard day-to-day processes allows you to take the admin burden out of tracking your sustainability figures, but also being able to report them as well. So what I've done is I've set up a couple of different metrics, and we'll go through in a bit that these metrics are a bit configurable. But I've got a very basic sustainability dashboard that I've created showing me my energy usage currently, my water usage, my electricity usage over the different months, fuel, etc. And I've set up various different categories as an example, and you can set up more metrics, more categories as needed. The entire system is very configurable. It allows you to pick and choose which different metrics you want to report on, how you want to report on them, all based on the configuration itself. But then it gives you that information at your fingertips, gives you this dashboard that you can then see trends, you can see usage, you can track monetary values of electricity, how much have you spent on it compared to this month, to last month, to quarters, to years, etc. But I can also dig into the actual transactions themselves that have fed all this information. And I can look at the actual detailed reports. I can see, where is it coming from? Is it building stock? Is it buying stock in? Is it production? Is it transfer? What is it that's causing a lot of our emissions, our water waste, our water usage, our electricity usage, etc.? We can track that and we can see where our trends are. And that's where a lot of these graphs on the side allow you to see that quite easily. And as I said, it allows you to pick your own metrics as you need to. And as I said, I've set up a couple examples, but you can set up additional examples as required, depending on what you need to do and what you need to report on. All this then can be seen on your dashboard, can be reported and sent to you over email. You can then use it as needed to get your figures out as you need.
I've got a question here for you, Imad. When HMRC charge duty on a sale, how does NetSuite push that cost into the product, or does it expense it outside the product costs?
So it currently expenses it outside the product costs, but we are looking at adding it as part of the actual transaction so you can see that as an additional cost.
Okay.
Any other questions at this point?
Not at the moment, no.
So the final bit we're going to look at is our production planning. So production planning is a big topic around longevity, around seeing your supply chain and making sure you have enough stock. You can see when you're producing the different items and you can track that and see how production's going based on your expected. So one of the things that we've made is our production planner. This planner allows you to track your different productions. So we call them work orders in NetSuite for your different items and see that information in a nice calendar view. And that might be in this timeline view, or it might be in a normal traditional grid view instead. That then gives you the information you need to see the information as you want to. So I can do this as a weekly or a monthly view, or I can even jump out to a year view. If I go back to my timeline view, on the left-hand side, I can see my different items that I'm producing. I can see that we're using colors to try and define and help the actual information and what problems we might have. So green being everything's okay, amber being if there's a problem, and red being that we've got an actual problem that needs to be dealt with. And I can open up the actual item as well, and I can see the products under each one. I can see what we've requested to be built, if we've built any, and if the system has committed any to the stock, to the order, or if we've got any on order that will actually help us get through this process and make sure that we can build these products as needed. And because it's a calendar, we're getting the visualization of the dates of when this is to be produced or if it should be produced. So for instance, we've got a work order on the 4th. I can simply drag and drop it to a different date because we're past that date. I can extend it as I need to, and that's going to move it for me. And it's going to change the date. And because that feeds into our wider material resource planning engine, so the MRP engine in NetSuite, as you make these changes, the rest of the supply chain will also update as it goes and then tell you if there are shortcomings in your stock because you've moved transactions around, or actually you're going to be building too much stock because you've moved it 2 weeks later and you will have enough stock because there's another work order there. So with our visual planner, you can move items as you need to, change the dates as you need to, drill into them, add any notes, open them up and look into more detail as you need to. And that gives you the flexibility to manage your production and your production plan, production chain without actually leaving NetSuite. And as you make these changes, as I said, you will then see that the rest of the system will also be kept in tow. So if you've committed to a sales order, that stock will be ready by the 20th, and you just moved your production to start on the 18th. So your production is now going to end on the 22nd. Well, that sales order is now going to be late, and the system will flag that up with the MRP engine to say that actually your supply is going to be late. So you might want to tell the customer or somehow deal with this supply instead. That then allows you to feed into the rest of the process when you're talking about duty, when you're talking about sustainability, when you're talking about all the other elements of bottle ERP. It's all interlinked and all in one system itself. So that's the production planner. Any questions on that?
There's no questions coming through at the moment.
Okay, cool. So that is pretty much everything I was going to show you. So thank you very much. I'll pass back to Rob.
Brilliant. Thanks, Imad. So, it's a very, very quick whistle-stop tour of some of the functionality that we've got there in Bottle ERP. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, and what we're planning to do is we'll probably do another webinar in 2 or 3 months' time, and show you a little bit more, maybe of the warehouse management, maybe of demand planning, the MRP version. But if there was a question. Sorry, Imad, can the planner be printed out, or to get more detail, does this mean a handheld device or laptop access?
So yeah, there's a couple of answers to that. So as part of Bottle ERP, you get a solution called Domesco. So that is our handheld solution that allows warehouse users to update receipts, fulfillments, production as you go mobilely. You can then see the production on there as well, and you can get the information in on there as well if you need to. So that you can get on a handheld device. But in terms of the production planner itself and getting more detail, that's just one view of that production. There are other views, as Rob just alluded to a little bit, of the MRP engine, and actually that shows you in a lot more detail the underlying productions, how everything links together, and you can get that out. You can print the production planner out if you need to, if you like the traditional, this is my production planner, I'm going to stick it on a wall if you need to, or on a whiteboard, but there are also other ways of getting that information out as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ronnie. And one more question. With the duty rates changing, obviously feels very frequently, how does the rate get changed in the system?
So we are storing the rates within the system, so you can change them quite easily, and I can show you if you need to, but it's just a record within the system that certain individuals will have access to. You can then put a start and end date on them, so as the duty rates come and change in, the system is automatically keeping the correct rates.
Brilliant. And can you upload demand plans to the system for the planner?
You can, yeah. So the system does allow you to insert demand plans into the system that then can be used as like your sales forecast, and then that will feed into the MRP engine itself, allowing you to see where you're short on supply based on current production, suggest production to you, and allow you to see if you've got safety stock, if you've got lead times, actually are you going to run a risk of not being able to fulfill your orders because of all that.
Brilliant. Okay, just wait a couple of seconds, see if there are more questions, none coming through. So thanks guys for joining today. As I said, this is just a little version or a little snippet of what Bottle ERP can do for your business. I think just in that production planning and the change of sales orders and demand planning and things like that, I think you've hopefully seen there, you know, you can imagine spreadsheets and people and emails running around the distillery to change that, but you can just do it in seconds within Bottle ERP. So we'll that's the half an hour. So thank you very much. If you want to know more information on anything, please contact Sam, and we'll be happy to set up a call and discuss your business and our system in more detail and see how we can hopefully work together. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day. Take care.